All right, so we're gonna do a couple videos. This one's gonna be kind of like the positives, and then the next video will be, more of the negatives, and it might be a little bit longer than normal because there's gonna be a lot of negatives. So first, the positives and what the heck am I even talking about? I'm talking about the new canon, new Star Wars canon, and not so much what the new Star Wars canon is, but the fact that they made a new canon or wiping out the old one. And because this is going to be positives, I don't know how much longer or how long it's going to be total, but I don't have a whole lot of positives. But this is really about not so much my feelings in a positive way as understanding where they're coming from, what they're doing. So, what are they doing? They're resetting the canon. They're basically saying everything that existed before doesn't exist anymore. I mean, this is not the old regime. This is a new regime. We're taking over and we're restarting it. Um, you know, and a lot of people are saying this is really freeing their hands and you know allowing them to rewrite kind of some stories, better stories, and more importantly, what a lot of people are saying is that it's allowing them to really standardize the canon and saying these things now they happened. All right, you can count on these things having happened when you watch any of the new movies, when you do watch anything else, you can know that this is the real history of what's happened. Kind of like, I guess, their version of the Cimmerillion, I guess, for the Lord of the Rings, where you have all this contextual information historically that really informs everything else in the books that he's written. You say you can count on these things. This is where this character came from. This is what's happened to them. This is what happened to this location, that kind of thing. That's really kind of the context that all of the rest of this gives. Now, for as far as the what would be considered the expanded universe here, even though they don't really use that, it's still true because expanded universe in the old version really meant not canon. And so they don't want to use that now because then it's not canon. But that's not really expanded universe literally means the expansion of the universe that you know, not different. Not this is another universe or a separate universe or separate reality or anything like that. This is the reality you know, expanded. So that's why it was called expanded universe in the first place. Now it's legends. So when I talk about canon and expanded universe now, I'm talking about what is now expanded universe, not the old expanded universe that's legends now. So the what it really does is allow them to tell some more stories, some cool stories about characters you already know. And again, this is the positive stuff, so I won't get into but I can completely understand why they would do it. I completely understand what they're doing with it. I get the reset. I get the new regime. I get the control over the story. I get all that. I get that these are brand new stories about characters we already know and love, and that this is going to be fun to go on this ride and find out these different things about these characters. But here's the thing, and I'm not getting too negative about it. I want to give this sort of the context again. I know context is like my favorite word in these videos, but to be honest, it's really is kind of important to these whole videos and the point of them. My cat's a long hair; he's shedding like a nut bag all over the place. Um, but the point is, um, yeah, it is about context. It's about getting these characters in a new light and finding out new things about them that we didn't know before. And giving, I think, for the most part, everybody else a chance to get into Star Wars now. All the new fans that haven't been around forever, that really started at a disadvantage because finding all the old books would be difficult, anyways. Are they all even online? I'm not sure if you can go to a place like a Amazon bookstore or something, or the Kindle bookstore, and actually find every single one of the old ones and all the versions of the comics and all that stuff, and actually get a hold of it. So from a practical standpoint, it would be tough to even get there and to be on the same say playing field as some of the old school EU guys. Like I'm not really that old school because like in my story I kind of started a little bit later into the EU, but I still had access to most of the EU back then, even when I was starting. Um, so so you could totally understand where they're coming from there and why they're restarting. And so yes, I understand is what it's really the central point of this is that I totally understand why they're doing it. I understand where they're coming from. I can understand there's multiple angles to this. Like I said, they really want control of the story. They want to give people a chance to really have access to the new way of things and to start out even like everybody else, not because it's a race or something, but just because they want people to feel included. It's about inclusion. You're not included when everybody else has the upper, you know, everybody's got something on you. It's like everybody's already knows this stuff, and you just have to catch up, and you're the noob. You know, it's always. I always thought noob was a stupid thing to put somebody down just because they don't know as much as you yet. Even though in the end they might know way more than you, and you're just an idiot. I always thought that thing was not that I haven't ever done that kind of stuff in my life. Like, oh, you're just too good. You don't do that kind of. No, that definitely have been involved in that kind of stuff. But it, you know, philosophically, I think it's stupid. I always hate it. You know, I always look back and hate that I did it, kind of stuff. Not that I'm constantly doing that, but you know, I mean, definitely nobody is without sin, let alone anything else. Hypocrite is kind of the name of mankind, to be honest, not any particular person, and not purposefully because we all like to be hypocrite. It just ends up being that way. And people talk about it's funny because they talk about the canon like, well, this really contradicts itself and blah blah blah. We contradict ourselves all the time, so get over it. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, you can totally understand it. And coming out with all this new stuff not just gives people a chance to kind of start over and really start from the beginning, but I think energizes the base, this new one, to go out and do that. It's like, come out, read these books, because you're the same level as everybody else, and these are new books, and you're going to want to read them, and they're great. And so, instead of 300 books you have to read now, you got three. I mean, they're supposed to come out with like 20 between now and The Force Awakens. But still, even that, 20 compared to like 300, and I don't know that there's 300, but I'm kind of a little bit of hyperbole for the point. And if you include all the comics and stuff, then probably, at least. But you know what I mean? 20 or 300. So I totally get it. I get it, and it's a much more of a bite-sized thing, and we're starting this new thing, the new regime, and so we can start fresh, kind of. So, yeah, I get it. That's over with now. Now I'm going to talk about the bad stuff. That's the next video. This one's a little bit shorter than some others, but yeah, I think you can understand why.